Hi everyone and welcome to another video. Today's video I'm going to be filming my reader problems. It's a tag which has been started by an amazing booktuber and I will leave the original link down below for the video. And I saw this being done on Catty-tastic's channel and I thought it was a brilliant idea. It's where I basically answer questions for you guys because y'all know that I got lots of things to say about the books. So let's go. Question number one, I've got my little phone. It says, oh, can we just appreciate my Pokemon phone case, thank you. You have 20,000 books on your TBR. How in the world do you decide what to read next? Okay, well, I have lots of books on my TBR pile. Oh my god, look at all my TBR books. Oh, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? Help me please. I can't do this anymore. I can't do this anymore. The joys. No, you stop. And I don't really have a method. At the moment, what I've been doing is kind of been setting myself up with TBRs. And I do stick to my TBR, so I'll pick like 6 or 7 books off my TBR shelf, and then I will kind of try and stick to reading those books, but it doesn't always happen. I normally will read about, on average, 3 or 4 books from my 7 TBR pile, which I pick only because sometimes I, don't feel like reading certain books, or I'll change my mind, which is okay, because I think the fun about reading is being able to change your mind. So, yeah, I don't really have a method. Just kind of just pick the books, and then what happened, I pick the books. You're halfway through a book, and you're just not loving it. Do you quit or do you continue reading? If I do not like a book, I will not carry on reading. I will give it 100 to 200 pages, but if I can't physically bring myself to finish a book if I do not like it, only because I don't want to put myself off reading. I don't want to force myself to read when reading's supposed to be a fun thing. And I look at my TBR shelf like I've just shown you and I think to myself, I have no time to be picky. I have no time to decide that I want to finish this book even if I don't like it. If I don't like it, I'll put it down and move on to another book which I possibly might like. I have a lot of books. It's scary, it's a scary concept, but stay tuned to the end of this year because something is going to be announced that might help all of our TBR piles. So, yeah. Project TBR's coming December 2014. Question number 3 is the end of the year is coming and you're so close but so far away from your Goodreads reading challenge. What do you do? Well, luckily for the past 2 years I have actually exceeded my Goodreads challenge, so I don't know what I would do. Maybe I would learn from my mistake and set next year's a bit lower, but what I most probably would do would spend the whole of December in my room locked away with my books and just read, because I feel like I'm one of those people that if I do not complete a challenge, I get really panicky and really worked up about it, and I have to complete a challenge. For example, when I'm driving home sometimes, I say to myself, oh, I'll be home by 15:15. Like, I'll be home in 15 minutes. And if I'm not home in 15 minutes and I exceed that time and I'm home in 17 minutes, I start to panic and I don't know why. I work myself up too much sometimes. I just need to take a chill pill. But what I would most probably do is learn from my mistake and next year's Good Readings Challenge, reduce it. But this year, so far, I set myself 50 books and I exceeded that, and then I set myself 100 books and I've exceeded that. So now in my head I'm thinking I want to beat last year's goal, and I'm like 10 books away maybe. Can I do that? Maybe. Maybe not. Dunno. We'll see. Also, read-alongs and readathons are really good ways of kind of getting up on your kind of reading goals. I love reading sprints on Twitter and I will be doing loads of reading sprints in December, I hope, so definitely let me know down in the comments below or come and tweet me, link down below, if you're going to be interested in doing some reading sprints with me. I think it'll be really fun. The covers in a series you love do not match. How do you feel? And how do you cope? Well, I don't know if I've had this problem yet. Let me just have a look. Oh, the only thing I have an issue with in the UK, because this really gets my nerve, is when they publish a book. Let me just give you an example. So they publish a book, yay, normal book size, and they publish the sequel. And the sequel is taller than the other book. What is that even about? What is that even about? They've done it for this series, they've done it for the Rick Riordan series and not taking out paperbacks straight away and just hardbacks, and they also have done it for City of Bones series, and it drives me crazy. I want books the same height. I don't want books that look like a ladder or steps on my shelf. It stresses me out. It stresses me out. Why do you even do it? What? And you can't even do it like that. Get back in there, you little book. Question number 5 is everyone and their mother loves a book you really don't like. Who do you bond with over shared feelings? Ooh, I bond with Sasha from A Book Utopia. Normally we have quite a same reading emotions towards a book, and sometimes it varies. I go on to Goodreads, guys. I go to Goodreads, and if I really disliked a book that other people loved, and I feel alone and I feel unwanted, then I head over to Goodreads and I say to the people on Goodreads, I say, if you didn't like this book, please come and find me. I need to talk about it because it's going to make me explode. I stay off my social medias. I don't want to tweet something bad. I go to Goodreads, I search the ratings, I see who's reviewed it bad, and I discuss with them on an intellectual, educational level, not, that why I didn't like it, because there's been books which I didn't like, Mockingjay, and yeah, it just, oh my goodness, Graciani's, my eye's gonna fall out, and I just sometimes need to vent, but that's okay, everybody needs to vent, but luckily that doesn't happen to me a lot. I normally like to go into a book with without any expectations. To be honest, the majority of the time I don't even read the blurb on the back of the book, I just go into it, and I love it. So, question number 6, I love this question, is you're reading a book and you're about to start crying in public, how do you deal? I cry, okay, I just cry. I'm not ashamed of my emotions, I'm not ashamed. Do you know, I think I've cried because of a book the most on trains, because I'm always going back and forth to London for various things, meetings, events, whatever, and I always end up crying. I cried at The Fault in Our Stars on the train. I cried at The City of Heavenly Fire on the train. I cried at Ruin and Rising at a tube station. What else have I cried at? Come on, Half Bad. I've cried at The Blood of Olympus whilst walking to my house from the train station. The train station and me have a connection. I get very emotional, but just cry, guys. If a book makes you cry, embrace the feeling and just cry. Do you know, I find it really hard to cry sometimes, and I feel like the only 2 times I can make myself cry is if I listen to Whitney Houston songs or if I read a book in public. They're the only 2 times I cry. So there we go. If I'm emotionally distraught, I'll just do that. Number 7. A sequel of a book you love just came out, but you've forgotten a lot from the prior novel. Will you reread the book, skip the novel, try and find a synopsis on Goodreads, cry in frustration? Okay, so normally, and this depends, okay, this really depends. So, the Divergent series, when Allegiant came out, I reread the whole series, okay? Cool. When City of Heavenly Fire came out, I went on to Recaptons, which is an amazing blog, which you can read literally a recaption of the book, spoilers and everything to, you know, get your mind back up. I read the whole series of that, and I didn't reread the City of Bones series, I just read a recaptions or recaptins, don't know what it is, report on it, and then I read the book. And then sometimes I just go in hoping that I will remember. For example, The Circle by Sarah B. Elfgren and Matt Stransberg, I read the sequel, and I knew exactly what was going on because the way they write it is very explanatory. And sometimes with books, in the first couple of chapters, and please do let me know if you've ever come across this, the book explains what's happened in the previous books. For example, the Sweep series, at the beginning of each book, it always explains what happened in the old book in a way of like recapping you, which is great. I love it. You do not want anyone borrowing your books. How do you politely tell people when they ask? Well, people don't ask because they know I won't give it to them. They don't even bother asking. I like giving my books away if I do not want them back. I'm not giving somebody my book. I've never given somebody my book, so I don't know if they're going to treat it nicely or not, but I'm never going to. I actually bought library cards. This is how sad I am, guys. This is how sad I am. Just come listen. I bought library cards, and in the purpose of going to, you know, give my books out with a library card and say, yeah, I need it back by this day, because I thought, you know, I'd be really cool, librarian, you know, this is my library. Yeah, I never used them. never going to use them. It's fine, it's fine. Nobody borrows my books, they don't even ask. Reading ADD. You've picked up and put down 5 books in the last month. How do you get over your reading slump? I don't get over my reading slump. Because of the pressure of my TBR pile, it worries me when I'm in a reading slump, but if I am, I just don't read. I watch some TV shows, some series, I listen to some music, I maybe listen to an audiobook instead. That is how I get over my reading slumps. What is going on with this hand? So yeah, I only think I've been in 2 major reading slumps, and I'm so glad about that. I don't want any more reading slumps. No, thank you. There are so many new books coming out that you're dying to read. How many do you actually buy? Well, luckily enough, I do get some art copies, which is advanced reader copies from publishers, and I, get them for an honest review in return. But I love buying new releases. I love going on my Amazon, I love putting it in my wishlist, and I love getting an alert when they're out, and I love buying them. So actually, normally, I like to buy new releases pretty promptly, or I'll pre-order them. I've been doing that recently, and I love it. I love pre-ordering, because you never know, you might get the book early. You might get the book early, so. But apart from that, I don't know, that's a bit of a tricky question. Tricky question. My uncle buys it for me. My uncle says that you're gonna buy me the books, and I'll say to the back, I'll say, you buy me the books, please. And he says, okay, I will. But there you go, really. And question number 11. After you bought the new books you can't wait to get to, how long do they sit on your shelf before you get to them? Actually, they used to sit on my shelf forever. That's why the TBR pile is so big. But at the moment, I've been kind of like, when I buy a book, I've been craving to read it. For example, I bought this book called The Oversight by Charlie Fletcher, and it was on my TBR shelf for about 2 days, and then I was like, do you know what? Scrap my TBR pile for this month. I'm going to read The Oversight. And do you know what? I'm absolutely loving it. So yeah. So there you go, guys, that is the tag. I really, really enjoyed this tag. I tag Sasha from A Book Utopia, Casey from Dark Readers, Sarah from Sarah Churchill. I'd love to see your reading problems tag response. And thank you so much for watching. Do comment down below and give this a thumbs up if you enjoyed, and I'll see you on my social medias, links down below. Goodbye.